Am I the antagonist for not involving my fiancé's parents in our wedding planning? Since late last year, me, 30 years old female, and my fiancé David, 31 years old male, have had significant issues with his parents over our wedding. While I think things could have been handled better, I didn't initially think we'd done anything wrong, but the degree of the fallout is making me doubt myself. For background, David is African and immigrated here with his father and stepmother when he was young, and as his father's firstborn son, the wedding would usually be a grand affair. That said, when we started planning the wedding last year, set this coming April, we decided to plan it ourselves. This is largely because we both wanted a small and simple Western wedding, 30 people max with a simple ceremony and private reception at a fine restaurant. So there hasn't been much to plan to begin with. We knew what we wanted, and my own parents were fine to not be involved. The catch came with David's parents. He said they would be very upset at the idea of having a small and purely Western wedding. Apparently the norm is easily over 200 guests with extravagant party, and he anticipated there being drama with them trying to push us to change our plans. As such, he asked that we just let his parents know the wedding date and other information a few months beforehand, along with everyone else. I was a bit iffy on not even telling them the date, but he seemed stressed about it and I went along. This past Christmas we visited his parents, during which they sat us down and demanded to know why they hadn't been involved in the planning so far. In short, David told them that we just wanted a small wedding and didn't feel like we needed help in the planning, but that we are happy to let them know what we've decided so far. When they heard about the size of wedding, there was an expected amount of shock and anger with a long bout of aggressive lecturing about how selfish we were for not considering their wishes for the wedding, for example, large and more African style. We ended things by agreeing to loop them into plans going forward, but that we're sticking to our current vision. Shortly after this though, his father sent David a text saying that our wedding isn't worth doing, that we should just not bother inviting anyone and go straight to the courthouse instead. David was furious and responded by saying our choices are valid and that we'll be going forward with the ceremony, and that if he thinks it's not worth it then he doesn't have to attend. His father blew up at that and, among accusations of abandoning his culture and being a bad child, said he won't attend and that we shouldn't invite anyone else on his side of the family either. They haven't spoken since, although many people have called David lecturing or begging him to make up with his dad. We're still fine going ahead with the wedding as is, but I feel awful about the break in David's family, which may be permanent. Were we the assholes for keeping his family out of the wedding planning? Not the antagonist at all. It's none of his father's business. This guy is a controlling jerk. It's not his wedding, he can come as a guest or not, that's all he gets to decide. If you and the person you are going to marry decided this is what you want, then that's all that matters. I said something very hurtful to my fiancé in the middle of an argument. Can this be fixed, or is it over? I don't know what to do, or even if I want to go through with the wedding. Things were going well for us at first. I have 2 brothers, a twin and an older one, 26. Since childhood we have been really close. Our parents were surprised at how well we got along. Brothers doted on me a lot and I clung to them like a little sister. We were best friends. Then, when we were 12 and 14, our parents got into an accident and passed away, and we were sent to live with our aunt and uncle. We could tell that they didn't really want us, but since we don't really have any other family, they took us in so we wouldn't be in the system. So we spent most of our teenage years being ignored. We relied on each other for emotional support and working through this shattering grief we were feeling now that our parents in great childhood were gone. As the years went on, things became a little more manageable. We were able to function more. We were still close, but life started happening. We got jobs and all went to college, and that's where I met my fiancé. By then we had stopped talking to aunt and uncle, and brothers and I were living together on our own. When it came time to introduce my then boyfriend to my brothers, they all got along well. Brothers were happy for me and boyfriend knew of how much they meant to me, being my only family left. Now that we're engaged and living together, things were still going well. We're still in the same city, so while things have changed, I still have all my loved ones around. But then, a few months ago, my older brother got in an accident. A drunk driver. I'm crying just writing this. Everyone I love keeps leaving. A few days after it happened, I just wanted to be by my twin. I couldn't stop crying. I was paranoid that something might happen to him too. Whenever I'd come home, I noticed my fiancé growing distant from me. He was there when I would need to talk to him, but he wasn't the same. I tried to ask him, but he would just dismiss it, and I barely had energy to even get through the day at that point. Things are just starting to calm down a bit. But a few days ago, after coming home from eating lunch with brother, he snapped on me. He told me that I'm not acting like I care about him anymore, and that I care more about brother than our relationship. I don't see that. I'm there with him every night. We live together. I make sure he has something to eat when he comes home from work. He asked me, why couldn't you cry to me instead? Or, why couldn't you ask how I was doing? I just didn't want to burden him too much. He works a demanding job, and that was our bother, so I twin could understand things he couldn't. I tried to talk to him about this, but we got into a huge argument. We both said some hurtful things, and out of nowhere he asked if I would feel the same way if something bad happened to him. In the heat of the moment I said, I would be devastated, but not as much as if my twin died. His face went white. I regretted saying it, but things were so heated, and I feel as if love won't even try to understand me. Why would he even ask me a question like that? Why can't I go and check up on my twin or want to cry to him sometimes? That was our older brother who died. We have no parents, no other family. I can't handle any more of my family dying. I love my fiancé to death, and I want to make things work, but the love I feel for him has plummeted since then. He's been so cold. We've barely spoken to each other these past few days, and I'm not even sure what I would say, or if I've already done too much damage. Please, what do I do? I understand how grief can cloud judgment and cause hurtful words to be spoken. Couples counseling may be beneficial in this situation before tying the knot. It's important to communicate openly and try to understand each other's perspectives in times of loss. I know my GF lied. How do I address this? I, 31 years old male, have been with my girlfriend, 28 years old female, for almost 2 years and things have been going great. We're part of each other's families and friends' lives. We're living together and are talking about buying our first house together. I genuinely think she's the best person I've ever met and couldn't ever imagine purposefully upsetting her. A couple of months ago, it became apparent that she had lied to me on multiple occasions. Now, she has a pretty colorful and casual past, which she tries to keep on the down low, and which I'm fine with. Past is the past, it's what's made her who she is, can't change it, etc. Etc. Why? I know not to go there. As we work for the same company, the only question I'd asked quite early on to ensure I wasn't caught out was if she'd ever done anything with anybody in the company. She firmly said no. I believed her, it was never mentioned again. Until I was told by somebody there was a rumor going around a few years ago that she was meeting up with Guy X died. In the interests of open and honest communication, I asked her about this, so I'm not putting value on a rumor, and so she can rebut it. Again, this was before we met, so no impact to me per se, it was more about whether she had been upfront with me. I'll caveat, I didn't want to know her whole past, just whether it included people I also interact with. Turns out the rumor was somewhat true. Tears and a bit of sadness followed, but I saw it for what it was, an attempt to prioritize us and not try and put me off early on, so we worked through it. I was told it was a one-off. The rumor had exacerbated what had actually happened, and that she regretted it almost immediately. No contact had followed, and that was firmly behind her. This was 4 years ago. Reasonable and understandable, right? Now, I then recalled last summer, I saw a WhatsApp conversation on her phone between her and Guy X, while she was on her phone finding another message to show me. I wasn't peeping. At the time, I was still of the belief that it was a platonic friendship. Why wouldn't they be messaging? Didn't think anything of it. Since the truth came out, it's now apparent that her comment of last hearing from him in 2020 is untrue, as they were messaging in 2023 whilst we were together. I've no idea if this was a one-off, whether it was ongoing or has been since. But basically, it looks like she's lied again. This, coupled with every time she's on her phone and I walk in and sit down next to her, she immediately closes her apps, makes me think there's something being hidden. I'm not trying to catch her out, nor am I sure I want to confront her with this, as I'll know it'll make her, and me, sad, plus may have further consequences for us. I'm not quite sure what to do. Do I raise this and risk finding out that she lied again when coming clean on her original lie and any knock-on impacts? Or do I put it in the bucket of past is the past, and focus on us in the here and now? In my opinion, you should raise the issue with her, giving her the chance to be fully open and honest. If she chooses to lie again, it may be best to cut your losses. People with a tendency to lie often don't improve over time. She has already lied multiple times and appears to be hiding things from you, potentially leading to cheating. It's important to address this behavior before it further deteriorates your relationship. Would I be the antagonist for not showing up to a wedding I'm a part of without giving a reason? My 28 years old woman brother, 31 years old man, is getting married in a few weeks to my best friend since childhood, 27 years old woman. They've been together for a few years now, and of course my best friend wants me to be her maid of honor. They've known each other for a long time, since she was always hanging out at my house, but I didn't know they were close until I came home from grad school and found out they'd been dating. I thought they'd have their fun for a minute, then break up and we'd all laugh about it someday. It's clearly no longer the plan, because here's my problem. I'm in love with her. I've been since before I really knew what being in love was. For me, the sun doesn't rise in the morning before I talk to her. She's the light of my life. She doesn't know I feel this way, or if she does, then there's a reason she didn't say anything. I know she's straight. She knows I'm not. And I always expected to stand at her side one day while she got married to a man. I've accepted that. I know she loves me, even if it's not the exact way I love her. As long as she's in my life, I'm happy. But this isn't just some guy I can politely ignore and forget about. It's my brother. If you're wondering, yes, he knows how I've always felt about her. We never sat down and spoke about it, but he's not an idiot, and here's when I talk about her. He's always been awkward mentioning their relationship around me, and extra much so when he pulled me aside a few months back to tell me he was proposing. I was hoping the feeling of betrayal would fade away with time, but if I'm being honest, it hasn't. Still, I know he makes her happy, and she makes him happy too, so I've done my best to power through all their conjugal bliss so far. But the upcoming wedding has just made it worse and worse. It would be bad enough as a guest, but they want me to stand next to them, to make a speech about what they both mean to me, to hand them the rings. All the while my best friend has been gushing about how happy she is, how she can't wait to be his wife and have children with him, every tiny little thing he does for her. And I can't help but feel that I was really just one chromosome away from being in his place. I feel like the little mermaid, walking barefoot on glass and unable to say anything about it. I don't think I have the strength to be in that wedding. I'm already miserable. I've always been the fun one, but I just don't have it in me anymore. I can't just stand down now either, she wouldn't understand, and I'd have to explain, which could only lead to a world of hurt. I don't want to ruin this for them. She's still my best friend and he's still my brother. So would I be the asshole if I just faked being sick or something on the day of and ditched the wedding? Let's be honest. You will never have a chance with her. She is marrying your brother, so it's better you work on putting aside your feelings and learn to see them together. Otherwise, you will pass a lifetime of fake sickness to avoid every single family event. Dealing with your emotions and finding a way to be okay with this is crucial for your relationship with her. Good luck with whatever you decide to do. I hope you can find a way to deal with this. Am I being too hard on my mother-in-law? I have to say I am a bit wary of my mother-in-law because my husband basically told me she was abusive to him when he was growing up, and she and I have not been close. To cut to the chase, there is a few things lately that happened that bothered or annoyed me, but I am not sure if I am just nitpicking, because I already am iffy of her, or if these are reasonable things to be annoyed about. First, we had our son's birthday party at a restaurant and it was not cheap. We paid per person. She decides to invite 2 of her friends. She didn't ask if it was okay, she just did it. I was already annoyed. This upped our costs about $100 for the party. Then during the weekend she made a comment about our past wedding, that she should have invited the 2 friends to our wedding. She did not pay for the wedding. She did pay for the rehearsal dinner, but I was just annoyed that she simply declared that she was going to invite these friends, instead of saying she'd have asked us if we could invite them. Just like she didn't ask us if it was okay to invite the friend to the birthday party. She also started telling people incorrect statements about something that happened to my husband and me. Not to go into detail, she was just way off, and frankly was trying to help us, but we never asked for her help, and she didn't even have the story straight to ask for help. She just took it upon herself to try to help. My husband frames this as her being someone who is trying too hard to help, but to me something about her efforts have always seemed more self-serving and not actually aimed at selflessly trying to help. They're more like trying to insert herself where she was not invited. Then the other thing that kind of irked me, makes me feel uncomfortable, was every time she has mentioned helping my husband's brother financially, she always makes sure to add, "Oh yes, and we're going to give you guys money too, don't worry." Since we help Zach every single time, even though I never say anything. But since she does go out of her way to insist on helping us or giving us money, she has yet to actually do so in the way she said. For instance, when we bought our house, she claimed she'd contribute $15, but then I guess forgot about it. Then, after owning a home for less than a year, proposed we buy a brand plot of land where we could build a main house and a guest house, where she and Phil could live and pay us rent. Husband and I are not rich. She pointed out how she and Phil gave Zach $70 towards his first house, and how they were going to give us money too. Part of me feels uncomfortable with the money talk, but then the other part of me can't help but feel like my husband is getting the shaft because she apparently gave his brother so much, but he has not gotten the same generosity. And I would not even be thinking that if it wasn't for her bringing it up constantly. My husband and I have decided to just not expect anything from them and try to ignore her when she makes comments like this. I can't really articulate what it is about these comments that makes me feel weird. Maybe you guys can understand what I mean though. Finally, my husband is a veteran who was deployed. He will talk about his experience when he wants to talk about it. I do not pry, and I know he doesn't like it when someone prods at him about it. He told me after he was done, his mother, my mother-in-law, hammered him asking about his experiences in the desert, and he snapped at her and made it clear he did not want to discuss it and didn't like her prying. Nothing violent. He was just stern and made the point clear. That was established a long time ago. Well, during a recent visit when there were multiple people in the room, including mother-in-law's friend, who husband barely knows, she randomly asks him in front of everyone, "Do you still have dreams about the desert?" This really bothered him and I was shocked that she'd asked that, especially in front of so many people. So am I nitpicking, or are these legitimate things to be wary of her for? For the next birthday party, consider making it a kids-only event to avoid any unnecessary drama with mother-in-law. As for the money situation with Zach, it might be worth being upfront with her and calling her out every time she promises to pay back. Some people never follow through, so setting clear boundaries can help manage expectations. Am I the antagonist for calling my brother dumb and telling him not to cry to me when he ends up alone? My brother, age 40 male, and I, age 30 male, are not on the best of terms right now. I feel like he expects me to be a silent shoulder to cry on and to not have any opinion or advice for him. But he also asks questions then, and I'm apparently supposed to agree with him or I'm a dick. Maybe I am. My brother has been married twice. His has a 15-year-old son with his ex-wife, and with his current wife, he has an 8-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. My older nephew has been through a lot because of his mom, constant moves, new guys in and out of his life all the time, putting guys before him, leaving him behind when she goes off with others. But he is fiercely loyal to his mom and always was. She didn't like when my brother had more kids, and so my older nephew was always very distant with his half-siblings, and he calls himself an only child. He also had a distant relationship with his stepmom. She accepted this because he was distant but not rude or cruel. She did try to improve their relationship though. But for about a year and a half, my older nephew has been an outright asshole to his half-siblings and stepmom. He goes out of his way to upset them and to say awful things. He has repeated things his mom has called the kids to the kids' faces, and he even showed them texts he and his mom send each other about them and their mom. My brother went to court for full custody due to the alienation and was denied, and the courts decided 50-50 should remain, but did order therapy for my older nephew. Therapy didn't help and his behavior is worse than ever. He does not care who is around either. He has behaved like this in front of my family, in front of mine and my brother's parents, and in front of neighbors and family friends. He also involved a friend of my niece's and turned that into a bullying situation. He knows the girl through his best friend. They are siblings, I believe. Sister-in-law is no longer willing to tolerate it, and she and my brother fought a lot. She told him either my older nephew goes to live with his mom or they live in separate homes to protect the kids. My brother refused. He wanted to keep things as they are. She said no way and took the kids and left when my brother refused to figure something out. This is where my fight with my brother comes in. He was venting to me and complaining about his ex and his wife and the situation with the kids. He asked me what he was supposed to do and whether I thought he was unreasonable or not. He asked me 3 different times before I told him I did think he was wrong and that he should have worked with his wife because now he is likely to lose them all. His son will choose to live with his mom once he's 16, and his marriage will be gone, and the younger kids will feel like he didn't care about protecting them. He told me to shut up, called me a child, and then told me I had no idea what I was talking about. He defended his stance. This is when I called him dumb and told him not to come crying to me when he ends up alone. Am I the asshole? Not the antagonist. It's your job as a brother to call him dumb. Sort of a requirement if you think about it. If he just wants a yes man, he shouldn't have asked for your opinion. To be fair, your brother is in a very tough position in terms of essentially having to choose between his children. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.